This is now how to make a bride figure. On this base you've got the groom and the bride together, but if you make her separately on her own, he can always be added afterwards. There are two little bits of advanced preparation you need before you can make this sitting bride, and you need to make the base for the seat that she's sitting on. And all I've done here is I've cut this from sugar paste, I've allowed it to dry for 2 or 3 days, and then I've covered it with a piece of icing, and there you've got a little bench that will fit the bride and the groom together. The other bit that you want to do in advance is the top of her body, which is this shape, and it's a little cone shape. The guide to sizes will tell you exactly what size it should be. You want to make that in advance so it's firm. So when you dress her and you put her shoulders on, her head and everything, if this was soft, you'd squash it. So make that little piece in advance as well. When you've covered your seat with your icing like this, you want to place on to it a little lump of icing. It's about 2 centimetres high, about 4/5 of an inch high, and that goes right at the front there, because what that's going to do, it's going to bring your bride's dress up to her waist. So put that little piece on first, and that's going to be building up to her waist. Now to make her dress, you need a mixture of sugar paste and the flour and modelling paste. So you need about 3/4 of the sugar paste and about 1/4 of the flour and modelling paste, because when you make her dress, you're making folds in it. And when you make folds, if you do this just with sugar paste, it will crack where the fold is. But if you've added the flour and modelling paste, it won't crack. So mix up your icing. On some icing sugar, you want to roll it out. And you want it to be about 2 to 3 millimetres thick. It doesn't want to be very thick, so. And I should get about 4 or 5 pieces of her skirt out of this piece of icing. The thickness you want it is about that thickness at this stage. You will roll over it again and make it a little bit thinner. We're now going to cut out a piece that's shaped like a triangle like that. And that piece wants to be about 7.5 to 8 centimetres, just over 3 inches high, and tapering at the top and about the same distance along the bottom. All right, so it's like a triangular shape with a rounded top. When you've cut that out, can you then roll over it all directions just to make it thinner, like that. And that is the thinness that it's going to end up as when you're actually doing your little folds in it. Now turn it over so you've got the best side underneath. So that's a good side, that's going to be showing. And the side that's going to be against her chair is the side that's facing me. And you want to hem it all the way down each side. And then you want to do one fold like that. So you've hemmed it and you've done one fold. Now the bottom edge of that has got a little bit uneven. Don't worry. Just cut it off like that. And that piece is going to get stuck there to the front of the chair and also up on this piece here, like that. So we're going to start this bit, coming round from the back. That bit's going to go down the side like that. That's your first piece. So let's do another one. Cut another shape, that kind of triangular shape with a curved top to it. Move her out of the way. Roll over it again in all directions. Make it thinner. Flip it over so you've got the best side underneath. Hem it like that. And then we do another fold. That one got stuck next to the first one. Just get my brush for my sugar glue. Brush some sugar glue just down that edge, and then this one goes on there, and you carry on until you've got all the way round your dress like that. I have used about 5 sections to make her dress. This is the 6th one, and this is going to be the last one that goes on. So I need to brush some sugar glue there, and I also need to cover around here at the side and a little bit onto the chair as well. So let's stick that last one on. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to go all the way neatly over the back there and blend it in with your finger where the back of her dress is. Now if I was going to fit a groom on here next to my bride, what I'll have to do is just push her dress a little bit in like that before I put him there, and he's got room to put his legs there. Now we take our body part here. This is the top of her body. You've made this in advance, and you place it on top of there, and you stick a piece of raw spaghetti right the way down into the body, down through the skirt, and actually into the chair as well. And that's ready for her neck and her arms to go on. We've got some peach or flesh colour here. And we're going to take a ball size D, and that's going to be the top, above her top of her dress, and also her neck. And I'm shaping it as if I'm shaping the top of a bottle here. So we've got the kind of neck of the bottle, and we've got the shoulders there, and that's the shape you want. A little bit of sugar glue once again to stick that on, and you place that down onto the spaghetti like that, and just smooth it down. And I'm going to pinch out her shoulders so they come a little bit higher, like that. If her neck seems a little bit thick, just pull a little bit off it and thin it so it's kind of thin and elegant. You don't want it too fat and clumpy. Pinch her shoulder blades, so once again those aren't too fat either, and just make sure that she's even both sides. That's lovely. Now we want to give her some arms. So the arms want to be a long sausage shape like that. It wants to taper at one end, and at the other end you want to flatten a little hand and pinch your wrist in. So let me do that. Long tapering shape. Pinch the end flat, push the wrist in, and there you have a little arm. Now if you put these on straight after you've done the shoulders, they should stick by themselves. If they don't, just use a little bit of brush sugar glue, and you'll also need a little bit of sugar glue just down here on her dress where you can have a little hand resting, and press it there, and that will stick just that side. Same with the other one. A little bit of sugar glue, a little bit down there, and then pop the other arm on. We're now going to give a little bit of detail to the front of her dress with a band of white icing, which is going to go the top of her bodice and also very slightly over where her skin is above that. And we're going to cut a little piece of icing like that, and we're going to stick it from one side where her arm is to the other side, and just use the back of the knife just to tuck that in neatly there. And then we need to do the same at the back as well. So a little bit of sugar glue just there at the back, and tuck that round, and that just neatens that off at the back as well. There we are. Now we can do a head. Now when you come to do the bride's head, it's a small D, so you want to check it on your guide to sizes. You can download this chart each month, and you want to check it on there, and you want to shape it into an oval shape. Now when you've got it into an oval shape, you want to very slightly give it a point at the base of that oval. So you pointed the chin slightly at the bottom, and then you want to slope it at the back. So you've got a slightly pointed chin. That's the front of her face. That's the back of her head there, and just slope it very slightly until you have this shape, like that. Now when you stick that down onto the neck, rather than sticking it straight down like that, I stick it on so she's looking upwards. So it's at that angle, and that's the angle her head goes on. She now needs a little tiny nose, and it's very, very tiny. It wants to go into a hole low down on her face. So there's a little hole for it. The tiniest little nose you can make. It's a teardrop shape, and you pop it into that hole. Just give it a little dab and it will stick there in place. To mark the ears on the bride, if she's got her hair up, you'll see her ears. If her hair is down, you don't have to worry about doing these. But you want to put your thumb behind the head and using the tip of the tool, just do a little tiny indentation like that, each side. So I'll just turn her the other way. And there, she's got her ears. The eyes, a black paste colour on the end of a cocktail stick or toothpick, only a tiny little bit there. And when you do the eyes, do them at that angle to make a slightly long eye. Don't go in from the front and do a dot, because dot eyes don't look very friendly. So we're going to do one little eye there and one there. That one, second one I did very slightly bigger than the other one, so I've just gone back and there you have her two eyes. Now we've done her eyes, I'm going to give her a little tiny smile. I'm going to have to turn her towards me to do this. The finest paintbrush that you can get, and we just do the minutest little smile like that. Also, you can do tiny eyebrows. They're barely perceptible, but they're just there, and they must be tiny, because if you do thick eyebrows, you make them too heavy, she's going to look angry. So now we're going to do a little bit of piping on her dress before I do her hair. If I was doing long hair on her, I'd have to do this piping beforehand, because her hair will cover it, and I've got to get it underneath first. We're going to do a little bit of piping just on that border at the top of her dress there. And it would also look rather pretty if we did a little bit of piping just over her shoulders, so it looks like she's got little sleeves on. There are lots of piping tutorials on my school, so do watch them, showing various different techniques. Round the back, I'm doing the same thing again. I'm going to bring that over her shoulder. If it's a little bit messy where you've joined her arms to her body, this is a really good way of hiding any messy joins as well. You just do a little bit of lace piping over there and nobody can see it. And it looks like she's got little tiny lace sleeves. Lace is very in at the moment on wedding dresses, so this is very topical and up to date. And just turn her towards you and just check that she's even both sides. I'm just going to add a little tiny bit more. Along the front. And there she has a little lace pattern there on her dress. Now we can do her hair. Now her hair is made with royal icing. You've got to make it so it's quite peaky. It doesn't want to be wet looking, okay? She doesn't want to look like she's just come out of the shower, so keep it quite peaky. I've made this colour up, this like a blonde hair colour up, using 3 colours of sugar flare colour, like the paste colours: melon, egg yellow and chestnut brown. A little dot of each, all mixed together, will come up with that colour. And now you want to decide how you want a hairstyle to be. I like my brides with their hair up, so I'm going to show you an up hairstyle, and then we can always adapt it if you want. There is a tutorial on piping hair on women, on girls, so if you watch that, you'll get other ideas for doing hairstyles. So we're going to start by pulling the icing across there. Now I've cut the end of this bag in the same way that I would cut it if I was piping grass. So hair and grass, you cut the bag the same way. It's 2 little cuts, one that way, so you end up with a little pointy shape, just like that. And when you pipe out of it, it's the perfect shape for doing hair. So let's go back to her fringe again. I want it to look like her hair's coming around and then it's going back round as if it's going to be in a bun. So that's one side. Do the same thing the other side. So that's what it looks like from the back at the moment. I'm going to give her more of a fringe with some long pieces. Just carry on building it up and up and up. And the thicker, the more layers of hair you put on, the thicker her hair looks. So I filled in around the back there. There's another tutorial which you can learn how to do hair up as well, which is piping hair on fairies and angels. And then once you've got it to that stage, you can pile it up on top. Right, she's got a big wavy bun up there. So just check it from the front. That's lovely. Now, if you look at this, you'll see that there's a natural division there where she's got her bun and where she's got her hair coming down in a fringe. That would be the ideal place if you wanted to put something like a tiara. So what I'm going to do is, using my white piping bag, I'm just going to pipe some pearls of graduated sizes just along there, and it looks like she's got a little white tiara. I'm going to do another layer on top of that just to build it out a bit more, and I'll turn it back round so you can see it, and a few right at the front, so it's sort of coming up almost like a little crown. And there you have your bride. Now what I would do to her as a final touch, just to make her dress look like it's satin and it's really, really pretty, is I would use the Pearl Luster spray, and I would spray that with a few short sharp spurts, and it would just turn her dress into a beautiful satin look. And there you have your bride.